lesson number 3 of grade 9 chemistry, and we're going to be talking about changes. Changes in matter, specifically. So how does matter change? All right, and as you know, we start with a question, as we always do in science. What's the question? Well, there's been a change. Has a new substance been formed? An ice cube melted. Now we have water. Is this change in the sense, well, what is this? So has a new substance been formed? Well, maybe you might be sitting there and thinking to yourself, Mr. Dave, I don't know. I have no idea if a new substance has been formed. Well, don't worry. I've got another question for you. Don't worry. Okay. Is the change easy to reverse? Or is it a situation of all the king's horses and all the king's men could not put this back together again? Well, if that's the case, then maybe, well, I'm going to get to that in just a sec because that's actually an interesting one. But is it easy to reverse? And you might be sitting there again and saying, gee, Dave, I don't know. I don't know. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Don't get upset. I'll break it down for you. So here's the dealio. And the little bit at the bottom, probably the more important part, is hard to read, but I love walking around the city and finding glass and putting stuff up on the glass. I know that sounds a little bit awkward, but it's notes up on the glass. And so, what are the signs of a change? Okay, did we have a color change? So something changed. Did we have a color change? Were bubbles formed? Was a precipitate formed? And the precipitate is not bubbles. Duh. It is a solid, like as a solid formed inside a liquid, and it kind of just fell to the bottom of the liquid like precipitation, like a rain. Perhaps a new smell appeared. Whoever smelt it dealt the change. Perhaps there's a temperature change, or perhaps there's a thing you can't read at the bottom because it's hard to see, and that is saying fire, heat, light. Where there's light, there's change. And now, finally, we are at the point, if you answer yes to any of these questions, then what are we looking at? We are looking at a chemical change. So a chemical change leads to a new product. Yes. It is difficult to reverse. Yes. And it could be something like burning. Try reversing that. Rusting. Try bringing that metal back. You can't. Neutralizing of the acids, and other things like that. All the king's horses and all the king's men could not put them back together again, but breaking an egg, not cooking an egg, breaking an egg, technically it's reversible. All the king's horses and all the king's men could have put the egg back together again if they just put some time and effort into it. They were lazy. Okay. So that would be what we would call a physical change. Perhaps it's a change of state. And for those of you who live in the States, I'm not saying if you go from like Ohio to Pennsylvania, unless you melt in the process. So changing state is going from solid to liquid, liquid to gas, that kind of thing. And yes, I know there are people out there going to be saying, actually, plasma is also a state of matter. Yes, it is. But we don't really experience it on the Earth. So get your glasses back down the bridge of your nose. No need to push it up and tell me actually. All right, back to the topic. And we could also have something like sugar dissolving in water. It doesn't change color. It's just sugar water now. Now, if you dissolve purple Kool-Aid in water, you haven't made the water turn purple. The Kool-Aid was always purple. You can reverse it. You can actually just, like, evaporate away the water and the sugar will be left behind. Or maybe something like crushing, ripping, that kind of stuff. Those are all examples of physical change. So let's remember our questions. Is it easy to reverse? I don't know. Oh, here, let's look at everything. I'm going to pause for a split second and let's look at those questions. So is a new substance formed? I don't know. Is it easy to reverse? I don't know. Okay. Do you see a new color forming? Is there smoke being formed? Do you have light? Do you have fire? Do you have a change in temperature? Do you have a solid forming out of a liquid out of nowhere? Do you have bubbles bubbling up in a liquid out of nowhere? then you're probably talking about a chemical change. And a little brain teaser. Oh, wait, I'm going to pause. Okay, that was me just freezing, but pause me and copy down these notes. Because in the copying, that's when you do the learning. That's how you do learning. You are what you do. And if you write information down, it will go into your brain. So make sure you do that. And make sure you absorb these concepts. And we might be exploring some of these in the next vid. And I hope to see you there. Peace!